So when I say yoga, what comes to mind? Probably stretching, right? Maybe some crazy poses. But what if all of that is just the tip of the iceberg? Today, we're going to dive deep, I mean really deep, into the source code of yoga philosophy, the ancient Yoga Upanishads. And you're going to see that their main goal, it had almost nothing to do with mastering the body. It was all about understanding and ultimately liberating the mind. In our guide for this journey, it's this amazing English translation from way back in 1938. Seriously, think of it less like a dry, old book and more like a roadmap for human consciousness, handed down for generations. This isn't just theory, it's ancient wisdom we can actually get our hands on and explore. All right, so let's just jump right in with a big question. What if every single pose, every breath you've ever taken in a yoga class, what if it was all designed for something way, way bigger than just physical fitness? What if the real endgame, the true destination of this whole practice, is the state of total, complete mental freedom? I mean, that's the core idea we're going to unpack today. Which brings us perfectly to our first section, Ancient Texts, Modern Mind. Look, we're talking about texts that are literally thousands of years old, but what they're about, it's completely timeless. It's like they offer this incredibly sophisticated framework for understanding, well, the operating system that's running inside your head right now. Yeah, the Yoga Upanishads just totally reframe the whole thing. It's not a workout plan, it's a deep, deep psychological science. It's a system, a method, for investigating the nature of your own thoughts, how you see the world, and even reality itself. So, you see, it's so much less about whether you can touch your toes and way more about whether you can touch the very essence of who you are.
Okay, so if this is a science of the mind, then what's the big problem it's trying to solve? Well, funny enough, according to these ancient texts, the problem is the mind. It's both the cause of all our problems and the cure. Kind of wild, right?
And this one line from a text called the Ātma-Mantra, it just lays out the entire foundation. It says, the mind alone is the cause of the bondage and liberation of human beings. I mean, that's a pretty radical statement, isn't it? It's saying that nothing outside of you is trapping you. The cage and the key to unlock it, they're both right here inside your own mind. So then the texts make this really important distinction. They talk about an impure mind versus a pure mind. Now, impure here isn't a moral thing. It's not about being bad. It's more of a technical term for a mind that's all tangled up in desires. And that's what leads to that feeling of being trapped, or what they call bondage. A pure mind, on the other hand, is just a mind that's been freed from all those tangles. And that, the Upanishads say, is the direct path to liberation. All right, so if the mind is the problem, how do you actually, fix it? This is where it gets really good, because this is not just abstract philosophy. The Upanishads hand you a very practical set of tools for this inner work. So let's pop open the yogi's toolkit, shall we? The whole foundation is built in 3 main steps. First up, you've got asana, the postures, but not for exercise, not really. The goal is to get the body so stable and still that it just fades into the background. It's no longer a distraction. From there, you move to pranayama, which is all about controlling your breath to calm your whole system down. And once that's in place, you can get to pratyahara, consciously pulling your senses away from the outside world so you can finally turn your attention inward. And there's this one text, the Upanishad, that uses this incredible metaphor for all this. It says, these practices are like a sharp knife. So these aren't gentle suggestions, they're powerful instruments. Actually, the name of the text itself means knife. The whole idea is you use these tools with precision to literally cut through all the confusion and emotional tangles, what it calls the knot of the heart. So powerful.
Okay, let's zoom in on pranayama for a second, because this is absolutely central to the whole process. And listen, this is so much more than just breathing exercises. In this system, your breath is like the physical handle for something called prana, which is the body's vital life force. So by controlling the breath, a yogi believes they can actually manage and purify their entire energetic and mental state. It's a total game changer.
And the Amrita-Upanishad breaks it down even further. It says the breath has 3 parts. You've got the exhale, called rika, and the inhale, puraka. But here's the secret sauce. The real goal is the 3rd part, kumbhaka. That's the pause, the moment of suspension between the breaths. And it's in that little moment of absolute stillness, when you're not breathing in or out, that the mind is said to become truly deeply quiet.
So as you go deeper and deeper with these practices, the texts start to lay out a kind of map for this inner world. But we're not talking about an anatomy of, flesh and bone. This is a subtle anatomy, an anatomy of pure energy. And this map is how a yogi learns to navigate the landscape of their own consciousness. So, the first feature on this inner map is this huge network of channels. They're called nadis. The best way to think about them is like a vast invisible highway system, but instead of carrying cars, they carry vital energy. And get this, the texts say there are 72,000 of them. The whole point of the practice is to clear out all these channels, to get rid of the traffic jams, so that energy can just flow freely. And what exactly is flowing through those 72,000 channels? Well, that's prana. It's described as the fundamental life force, the very energy that makes us us. It animates everything. And this is where it all clicks into place. Pranayama, that breath control we were just talking about, that's the steering wheel. It's the technique you use to direct the flow of prana through all those nadis. You see, it's all one big interconnected system. Now, at the very base of this whole energetic system, there's something called kundalini. And the texts, they get really poetic here. They describe it as this powerful, sleeping energy that has the radiance of myriads of lightning flashes. Just imagine that. And the ultimate goal of all these practices, it's to awaken this incredible energy and guide it upward, right through the body's central channel. Okay, so we've got the problem, the mind. We've got the tools, the practices. And we've got the map of the inner world. But where does this road trip lead? What's the final destination? This brings us to the last, and honestly the most profound part of all this, the final fruit of yoga. It turns out that having a calm, quiet mind is just a bonus. It's a nice side effect, a stop along the way. The real goal is, well, it's cosmological. It's about having this direct personal realization that your individual consciousness, what the texts call Atman, is actually one and the same as Brahman, which is the ultimate, absolute, all-encompassing reality of the entire universe. No big deal, right? And one of the texts, the Upanishad, it actually describes the final practice. It's the constant reflection on this one single idea, I am Brahman. Now, this isn't some positive affirmation to make you feel good, it's a tool for deconstructing a lifetime of mistaken identity. It says this practice destroys the sin of what is seen. What that means is it completely dismantles the illusion that you are separate from the world you see around you. So what happens when that realization really sinks in, when it's fully integrated? You achieve a state they call Jīvan-mukti. This is it. This is the grand prize of yoga. It literally means liberated while living. It's not about going to some heaven after you die. It's a profound psychological freedom that you can experience right here, right now, in this life. So after all that, the final takeaway from these ancient user's guides is both really simple and incredibly profound. They're suggesting that the entire universe, the ultimate reality, isn't out there somewhere in space. It's folded right into the fabric of your own consciousness. They've handed us the map. The only question left is the one they're asking you. Are you ready to look?